Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, part 2 of this garage renovation series. So today I will be tackling the floors. I have a little bit of help with me. We'll be laying concrete down just to bring it up to the tiles, and then we'll do another pour over. So let's just get to it. Right now, we are pouring the concrete in the bucket, which I don't know if any of you ever done this before, but you will know that the water needs to go in there first. But this is our first time ever doing something like this, and we are starting off not doing any research, but we quickly realized that we shouldn't do that. We should put the water in the bucket first and then add the concrete. Otherwise, you will get the mess you're about to see. So at this point, we start to realize that some of the concrete was stuck at the bottom and we needed some sort of tool to get it out so that we can mix it well. You can see that she can barely pull that out, but eventually we got it unstuck. It was just clumped at the bottom, and we got this crowbar here and started to pull it out. It was so thick, but we got that out, added more water, and we know next time just to add the water first so that we don't have to come across this problem again. But we started to add more water, and eventually we got a mixture that we were pretty happy with. So we decided to do our first pour. So look at this first pour. We barely got a dime size of concrete out. So we decided to spread it out a little bit as much as we could just to, I don't know, cover more surface area, but it was a little bit too thick of a pour. The next pour won't be so thick, but that's how our first pour came out. I like the texture. I like it all, but in order for us to cover this entire garage, it will have to be a little bit looser, and us spreading it out like that, it just made for a total disaster. Ridges and bumps, it just didn't come out well. So here's us pouring our second bucket. Obviously, we know now to pour that water first, of course, and mix it after we put some of that concrete in there. I just skipped over that part. You guys know what that looks like. The mixture was still a little watery, so I just decided to start adding more concrete just to thicken that up a bit. Okay, so our second pour is a little better. We have more concrete. We're covering more of the surface of this floor. However, you don't want your concrete pours to be different textures. It will come out different colors. If you're okay with that, then that's fine. Eventually, you'll see throughout this video, I became quite okay with that. So it was still pretty thick, so we decided to scrape that out a little more. And I'm just going to speed through this because we decided to stop at this pour. We started to lose sunlight. We started late because we needed some help carrying those bags of concrete out of the car. And this is the final result for that first day of pouring. You can see in the concrete, it's just not a good pour, but we tried. This is a new day. I decided to come out by myself to see if I can cover these floors alone. I saw based on that first day, all I'm doing is pouring water. The concrete mixer is doing majority of the work. I don't need to carry those bags of concrete. I can just scoop them out while I'm on the floor. So I'm doing that first pour. Here is my workstation that I set up right near that tile because, like I was telling you in the beginning of the video, that I wanted to raise the floors up to the tile so that the second pour can be over the tile and over the entire floor so that we can get an even coverage of concrete so that the floors can all be leveled. And eventually I will paint over those floors later in the video so that it can be the same color. Pouring that concrete out, me not being a professional, it just didn't come out to the same color. It was different textures of pours. We didn't measure any concrete. We eyeballed everything. I eyeballed everything. That's just me telling you that I'm setting this concrete mixer on level 2. I actually purchased this mixer for this project. I'll put a link in the description below showing you which one I got. Obviously, I get everything from Home Depot, so pretty much all the tools and supplies I use here is from Home Depot. So I'll be linking everything that I use down below. I also put a mask on because that concrete dust was just flying everywhere, so I didn't want anything to get in my nose that I'm inhaling. So now let's move on to pouring, which is the best part. Just getting that concrete over the surface level of the floor so I can be done. I started off in this corner here, and as you can see, it just pours right into the groove of this tile. I just want to bring it up to the level of the tile, get as much concrete mixture as I can in there so that I can move on to the second pour. So I tried to be as careful as I could around this septic tank. I know I don't want any dried concrete over this thing. It's going to be exposed once I'm finished with the garage. However, it just didn't work out that way. But I do clean that up later on in the video. You'll see how I did that. But there are 2 nails sticking out of the floor. They are standing above the tile, so I need to get those out. And in order to do that, I'm going to use these pliers here first because I'm not quite sure how hard it'll be to get these out. But I tried these pliers first and they didn't work as far as getting the nail the actual screw out, but there was a bolt in the screw to hold it in place, and the pliers worked. It just peeled it right away. The bolts were very rusty, so squeezing that plier around it just squeezed those right on out, and I was able to get the bolt out. But I needed to go and get another tool to get that screw out, and you'll see me here trying to get the screw out with the pliers, but it just won't work. So I went to get these instead, and I will link both of these tools in the description box, but this tool here worked for me, and I just used the same technique with the next screw, and that worked as well, using both tools. So So back to pouring concrete. I'm just going to go straight through, just pouring the concrete on the actual concrete around the tile, just filling up this floor. If I did get some mixture on the tiles, I tried to scrape off as much as I possibly could, just because I want all of that to be surrounding the tile to bring it up. There was some debris in the concrete. I just made sure I got all that out. Those are leaves that blew in. It was a windy day. I have on gloves. They're not work gloves. I could not find my work gloves, so I just put on some regular gloves because it was windy, and it's better to work with gloves than to not. So here's me continuing to lay that concrete. I just want to show you guys how much I have left to go. Not so much. As you can see, I still need to pour concrete there. The mixture is not laying all the way up to the level of the tile, so I still have some more pouring to go, but this is how it's looking. I want to tackle this part here, so I'm just going to continue to pour until I feel like it's at a level that it can dry and I'm satisfied, and I'll be ready for my next pour. So I'm not too concerned if it doesn't come up all the way, because I know I'll be pouring again, but I still want to get as much work as I can done right now to save myself in the future. Okay, so these are the final results. I'm pretty pleased. Okay, so another trip to Home Depot. Today I'll be laying that second pour. I know I will run out of concrete. I only have about 2.5 bags left. I initially had 6 bags of concrete. Only 2.5 bags left. I need more. So I just went to Home Depot and picked up another 2 bags of concrete, and just decided to go ahead and get the supplies I need to paint over those floors as well. So that's what I'm doing here. decided to get this cheap paint pan because I know I wouldn't be using it multiple times. I don't normally use the same paint supplies over again. It's just everything is so inexpensive and I would have to clean it off. It's not worth it. I got this paint roller because it's 12 inches. I know it'll cover a lot more surface than the regular paint roller, and I just needed the rollers to fit. So I got the same 12-inch rollers and a paintbrush. I wanted to get a thick paintbrush so that I can paint the edges of the garage, the sides of the garage. So I got this 4-inch latex paintbrush. Again, I'll be linking everything down below, including the bags of concrete that I purchased. And next, I just wanted to get a handle for that roller set. I wanted to make sure it fit before I left out of Home Depot, which I knew it would, but you never know. And now it's time to check out. Okay, so here are the final results after those floors dried. After the first pour, like I said, it is completely discolored. I knew it was going to be discolored. That dark spot in the middle, some water got through, and that is the result of that. This is my workstation that I need to move because we will be covering these tiles up. So I need to get that out the way, and that's what I'm about to do now. So some of that concrete dried in my work area, and I just decided to scrape it up just to get it out. Anything, when this concrete dries on a surface like this, then it's kind of okay. You can kind of peel it off. It's not that easy, but as you can see, my all-purpose spatula, I swear I use this thing for everything, is helping me break that up. And you guys, if you're gonna do this, wear glasses, wear some protective glasses, because concrete bits were flying everywhere. I had no glasses. I just got lucky with that. But it got the job done. I got the thick parts out that I wanted to, so that I know any concrete wouldn't stick out of that part. So I'm just moving the concrete bags over, and these bags are so heavy I can barely push them, but I just want to get them out the way while I clean this area. And I'll be doing my second pour. I didn't show myself mixing that. You guys seen that enough, but I just like to show you that this is a thicker pour. I'm kind of going to speed through this pour for the second layover, because again, you guys seen me pour concrete before, but I just want to show you what it's looking like as far as how I'm covering over everything and the tiles. So as you can see here, I want to tackle this side a little bit better. I just want to make sure that the concrete is thick enough, it's covering the edges of that tile, and we can't really see that it was actually tiled there, because that's not something I wanted. So I eventually ran out of concrete. I had to move my work area to the back of my car because it was no way I was lifting these heavy bags of concrete, especially being 8 months pregnant at this point. Yes, I am 8 months now. I know in my first video, part 1, I was barely pushing 3 months, but some time has passed and I'm now 8 months, so I couldn't carry those if I wanted to, but I was making it work. I made everything work. I made everything safe. I made sure I was keeping the baby safe, and I wasn't doing too much of hard labor, hard carrying while I poured these floors. But sometimes you just have to do what you have to do. Okay, so I just want to show you guys what the floors are looking like right now. I'm still focused on this back area, just getting the concrete to raise where the tiles are. If you can see, there's still some concrete that needs to be poured back there, especially in that back corner. So I'm going to focus on that area right now and then continue to work my way forward. So this is just me showing you that I still need to focus on that area a bit more because the concrete is not reaching the tile. It's a little bit higher than I thought, but I did end up making it work, and I poured as much concrete as it needed on that side. Okay guys, so that is my last pour. This is how the floors came out after the pour. It is very beautiful. I like how it turned out. Obviously it's not dry yet, but I'm pretty satisfied with the pour. We'll see how that looks after, but again, we'll be painting over, so the discoloration will be gone. Okay, so it is a new day, and I just want to show you guys what the floors are looking like after that second pour. I'm pretty satisfied with it. Again, I just wanted to raise these floors, get them covered with concrete so that I can paint over them. It's pretty even. It's not perfect. I'm not a professional, but I did get them covered. I did get them flat. I did get the tile cover. As you can see, you can't tell there was tile over here except when we get to this lovely part. I don't know why I wasn't focused on this area, but as you can see, there is a line there. You can tell where that tile had cut off right there, but I'm okay. I am okay with that. It's not perfect, but I did it, and it's my garage. It'll be my shop in the future. So I'm just going to start painting these edges. I'm going to get right to it. I tried using this old leather jacket to protect my knees first to get down there and start painting, but that did not work. That jacket did not protect me at all. It was actually worse than not using anything because I had to keep moving it. So then I tried to use this bucket which it kind of worked better, but I had to move it so often. I can only cover a little bit of space just sitting right there. So standing up, I was able to get a lot more coverage, but bending over while I'm pregnant, it was just a hassle. Nothing was comfortable painting the edges of this floor. I just knew I had to get through it, and that was the only thing that was working for me, knowing that I had to get through it and to get through it as fast as possible so I can be comfortable. So I wanted to make sure I was being careful around this septic tank because I knew it would be something that was showing. I wasn't as careful around the edges because I know the insulation would cover most of that, as well as the drywall. I'll also be putting up some floorboards in the future, so I didn't have to be as neat and tidy as possible. So I wasn't really focused on that, but this will be showing, so I wanted to be a little careful around here. Okay, so now that I'm done with the edges, it's time to cover the entire surface area. I was just clearing off some excess paint off of my paintbrush, just covering as much of the surface as I can. So yeah, that's next. Just me covering the floors with my first layer of epoxy paint. And I know you guys saw me choose which one in Home Depot, but again, I'll be linking the description down below so that you can see it for yourself. Okay, so I noticed this patch in the floor and I started to mess around with it because it was just off. But you guys, before you pour concrete, before, please lay a base down so that the concrete can stick to the floor. As you can see here, it's just chipping up in this one spot. Luckily, this was the only spot that I had, but if I would have laid a base down, I wouldn't have had this problem. Both layers were actually chipping away, so I wanted to just get as much as I can up and continue to paint. I knew I would be painting over a second layer, so I just continued to paint, and I knew that I would have to patch that part up later on after these floors dried before I can do the second layer. So again, just put down a base. I didn't put down a base at first. I kind of knew about it, but I wasn't too concerned about it since I was pouring concrete over concrete, but it matters. If I was to go back, I would actually lay a base down to avoid this problem. Okay, so I painted myself out of the garage. Here is the final results after that first layer of paint. So, yeah, I'm pretty pleased with how it came out. I know I'll be going over it again, so it doesn't have to be perfect. I just wanted it to be covered. And as you can see, the crack there that I'll have to fill later. But here are the final results after the first pour, and these floors are already looking so much better than when I first started in part one. So I'm happy about that. Okay, so today is a new day. The floors are dry, and I just want to see how it turned out. As you can see, some water got in the garage. Again, it's been raining for an entire week, so I wasn't able to get back out here until a week later, but it left a stain right in the middle, a leak stain. So I'm glad I was already deciding to pour over. But first things first, I need to fill this crack. And I decided to pick up this quick setting cement. The instructions said that it will dry in 15 to 30 minutes, but it did not do that. So, but I'm going to mix that. It's pretty much the same concept as the concrete mixture that I had before, just to cover all of the concrete. But this is just going to be a little bit thicker, a thicker consistency to fill that hole up. So I'm going to mix all that up and get a good texture so that I can fill in that hole. So I decided to wait another day just to let the concrete mixture toughen up a bit. I didn't like the consistency of it the day before, but as you can see, it got a lot thicker, maybe a little too thick, but it still worked for me. I still used it. I was able to fill that hole in, so that's me filling that here. this is the patch later on. I think it's been about 3 to 4 hours. I had to run some errands and I just came back so that I can go ahead and sand that down. The direction said that it takes about 15 to 30 minutes to dry. I'm not sure if it was talking about the mixture or once you put it on the ground, but as I was sanding this down, I could tell it could have been a little bit more dry, but I was still able to sand it a bit, especially on those edges. And again, I'm not looking for perfection with these floors, just a decent floor for me to make my shop. So I was pretty satisfied with this, so I just continued to sand the edges, sand it down as much as I possibly could so that I can paint it over. It can be as smooth as possible with the amount of dryness that it is. But as you can see at that top left corner, is still some moisture. It's kind of stained the floors a bit, so you know that it's not completely dry. So here I am using my all-purpose spatula again. I didn't get a paint opener, so I decided to make it work. And I'm going to pour my second jar of paint out here and cover these floors again. I'm going to speed through this process and fast forward because you've all seen me paint. I know you guys are tired of me working on these floors, but after this, it's on to the walls. So I'm pretty excited about where we are in this process as far as getting this garage done to make my shop so that I can start doing what I actually want to do for this channel, which is thrift, restore furniture, have amazing yard sales, paint, do just try new things and show you guys new things that I want to do, that I like to do with decor and wall art, furniture, just restoring old pieces and making them just amazing modern designs. So I'm happy about that. But first things first, I need a space to do that in. So this project is very important. I'm kind of alone to do this, so that's why I'm doing these floors by myself. I can enlist some help from friends, but essentially I'm doing the best that I can to get this done as soon as possible. I really want this garage to be done before the baby gets here, but I'm not sure how that is going to work. But part 3 of this video is the installation, and I want to get the ceiling looking half decent, at least. Drywall is going up, and obviously I need some storage and organization going on in here, so that will be coming up next. If you stay tuned, if you like this channel, you'll see what's in store. Please leave a comment below if you have any recommendations for me. If you like to see anything, if you have any suggestions. This is my first time uploading to YouTube, the second video, and I'm just learning and having fun and doing what I want to do. It's very exciting. So these floors are finally complete. This is the final result. I'm so happy. I'm so happy. I'm so happy. I'm in love with how these floors turned out. I cannot wait to see how it looks with the drywall and it all being complete. I think it's going to turn out to be a beautiful shop for me. The baby will probably be here at that time too, so she'll be in there running around while it's safe. But here is the floors while it's dry. You guys, I am so happy. I did this all by myself at 8 months pregnant. Can you believe it? I'm so satisfied with how these floors looked. I'm just so satisfied with being able to move on to the next step. I'm going to show you guys what it looks like from another angle, but they look gorgeous. It looks even better in person, but yeah, we are done. We are finished. So thank you so much for watching. Please stay tuned for part 3, and please subscribe to my channel.